Yeah, I was looking at comedies and realizing that there's a lot more than I really give them credit for.
Yeah, same. I when we said comedies, I was thinking this might be hard to find some that are that good. I mean, because I like comedies and I watch them a lot, but most of them are pretty forgettable. Even the big ones, like, I mean, does anybody talk about The Hangover anymore? That was like this
Right.
big comedy that everybody loved. And,
Yeah, kind of
like,
don't care anymore.
yeah, it's like, all right. I mean, if someone hasn't seen it, I might tell them to watch it. Uh, but other than that, it's not that memorable of a movie, which most comedies, I think, kind of are somewhat forgettable. But then when I started looking up like comedies, then I started having a hard time choosing from the. There's a lot. There's there's quite a lot of them that I think are pretty memorable, are classics. Um,
Yeah, I
so
don't know. It's like most of mine are dark comedies, and essentially doing a
I kind of assume they would be.
separate episode on that. I'm just like, crap. It was all my
Yeah.
favorites.
Um, yeah, like one of my all-time favorite comedies, I guess we can count this as a honorable mention, is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which um, was just one of my favorite Christmas movies, if not my favorite Christmas movie. So I figured, well, I'll leave that off the list, and if we ever get around to like Christmas movies, that'll be on that list.
Okay,
But
I'm not big on
I love
Christmas,
that movie.
so or
I
at least
mean,
we can.
Christmas is Christmas, you know. I have a lot of mixed emotions around that holiday,
Hmm.
especially you know, spending enough years in poverty, I think gives people a sense of bitterness towards that holiday, or at least it did for
Maybe.
me. So,
I guess as a
but
shut in, it's like they kind of pretend the world doesn't exist. But
yeah, I mean, I guess if you're
I guess
kind of a
for
socially isolated person,
I did have two honorable mentions, and really it's only because I just watched them in like this last week.
Hmm.
So I came across another Mads Mikkelsen movie. It was labeled as a comedy, and it's called Men and Chicken.
never heard of that.
It's foreign,
Huh.
but it has funny moments. It's like he plays a disfigured brother, and they're looking for their dad. Has some
Okay.
like he plays it perfect. He's so pitiful.
Kind of what?
He's so pitiful,
Ah,
and like he's a compulsive masturbator. Like he meets a woman that has to go masturbate.
wow. That's
So yeah, that kind of lets you know what kind of movie it is.
yeah, yeah. It definitely. That's definitely a vibe.
Maybe it's home.
Um, I have an honorable mention also. Office Space almost made the list, but didn't quite. But that's a classic.
Mhm.
Just classic '90s comedy movie.
Yeah.
I think kind of everybody has to love that movie. It's
Well,
and
I think if you have a
one of
job,
those
it's
people still quote it, and yeah,
yeah.
if I've never worked in that kind of environment, um, I think I would snap like the first week. I can't do office type cubicle shit. Um,
Hmm.
I remember I was on this construction job like 20 years ago, and they were building one of those offices, and they they were just starting to move the cubicles in and set them up, and just being in that room was so unnerving and creepy to me that I decided right then, I was like, I'm never doing one of these jobs. I don't care how desperate I get. I'm never doing one of these jobs because
Interesting.
I will go insane. So, yeah, it's even if you've never done that job, there's a relatable aspect to it, I think, too.
Okay.
Because we've all had that shitty boss.
I guess the other one I wanted to talk about, it's called Daisies. It's a Czech movie about two
Okay.
girls. I think it's in the 60s or 70s. But yeah, they're very they're like they date men and then they run them out of town, like after whining and dining them.
They date men and then they what to them?
They like okay, so there's like a train and they like jump
Uh-huh.
on the train and then they jump off and you know the guy's stuck on the train.
Oh, so they just, okay. Yeah, they just ditch.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and they do that quite a bit, but it's
I
fun.
mean, plenty of men who do shit like that too. So maybe a bit of a
Mm.
reversal. Another honorable mention for me is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh,
Is
okay, that's
another
like
classic.
my number one, I think.
Uh-oh, spoiler alert.
Ah, okay. Well, holy crap! I didn't realize I had so much. Okay, I guess there's a bunch of stuff I forgot to talk about. I did watch the Hellraiser, the 2022 remake.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
Yeah, it was really well done, but I thought you'd mentioned how there's like no eroticism in it at all, which is kind of weird because there's sex scenes. But yeah, it's like,
Yeah. They didn't it's supposed to be that blurring of the line and they didn't really do that.
yeah, they didn't do it at
Uh,
all. It's like they're not
which
sexual at all, which is odd.
yeah, it
Like
is.
I don't know if that's like a
It
whole
was
Netflix thing. Like they're just pretending people don't have sex.
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Uh it was a weird choice. Or maybe not a choice. Maybe they just kind of missed the fucking point. I don't know.
Could be.
Um, but it's unfortunate too because
Well, the special effects are really good.
you know, yeah, they looked amazing. Um, plus, not gonna lie, fucking Lady Pinhead kind of did it for me a little bit. It's kind of into Lady Pinhead.
Well, that's what I
So
was saying. They didn't like go take it the extra step and make her, you know, like really attractive. Or just yeah, they could have doubled down on that.
yeah, yeah, missed opportunity, but overall, still a pretty decent movie, I thought.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I guess it did make me remember. I guess this is more with the cosmic horror, but I was
Hmm.
thinking of Fate's Worse Than Death.
Oh, just generally as a concept.
Well, I guess I had a specific. There's a video game that's written by Harlan Ellison,
Oh, okay.
who sued James Cameron for the Terminator 1 for ripping off
Hmm.
his short story, whatever. But he has it's called I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream.
Yeah,
So, it,
I think that's literary wise. That's like the ultimate worse fate than death that I can think of. Like that's the biggest one,
yeah,
or fate worse than death. Um, when you said that, like that's what my mind always goes to that story. Um,
yeah.
for that concept.
Yeah, I guess
And
that's
I
why.
mean, the Cenobites.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to mention the we talked about that book, The Obscene Bird of Night, and it's like that too.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, the Cenobites, I don't think would be like if you become a Cenobite. I don't think that's a fate worse than death because they seem to enjoy it. Uh,
Yeah, that's how they played it in the movie.
yeah, even the new movie, they seem to be enjoying themselves,
Mhm.
uh, even without the eroticism. But I guess if you're one of their victims, like the friend that gets taken in the alleyway, um, she definitely wasn't into it. So that's that's up there with a fate worse than death because that's like an eternity of just torture.
Right.
Um, I
Yeah.
still think
Well, I know,
the
like Plato, like he lists, I guess, starvation as, like those slow deaths, being trapped in a coffin. Although you'd run out of air pretty quick and suffocate.
yeah, that's just suffocation.
But yeah, like
Yeah,
being drawn out for like 6 months, starving to death, like that would be rough.
yeah,
Slowly losing your humanity.
yeah.
Okay. Well, for my honorable mentions, Three Stooges.
Okay. Just in general, because they have like a bunch of movies, don't they?
Their movies kind of suck, but like the original, like
Mhm.
just the episodes were pretty decent. Or at least as a kid, I would just laugh at them, and even
Yeah.
still, some dude getting kicked in the nuts. It's like, yeah, I'm laughing.
It's the original slapstick.
Well, I mean, it goes back. I guess it's just, putting it on film, whatever.
Mhm. Oh, that actually reminds me of another honorable mention that I mean, yeah, I considered now that I thought about it, I was briefly considering just then putting it on the list and knocking the third one back, but it still doesn't quite make it. If it was top 4, this would be on the list. Just
Okay.
for pure nostalgia, but there's a movie called and I think a lot of people don't know about it. Um called National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1, which is funny because there's no sequels to it,
I
but
think we might have watched that one, but
um it's a parody of like buddy cop films. Mostly
right,
it's yeah, a parody of the Lethal Weapon movies because it's got basically the same two characters,
right.
but it's Emilio Estevez playing the Mel Gibson part, and then Samuel L. Jackson playing
Mm.
the Danny Glover part, and it's pure slapstick. It's very dumb, um, although it does have some pretty clever jokes in it. Uh,
Huh.
but it's absolute nonsense from start to finish, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
fucking love it.
I mean, that
And
that
I watched it a
reminds
bunch
me.
as a kid.
I'm sure we did. But that reminds me of that scene from I think it's The Other Guys, but it had The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson, and they just jump off the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. Like we could totally make it to the bushes or whatever, and they just slap on the concrete. Yeah.
Right? They have yeah, they've been eating their own dog food too much.
Yeah. That's a fun movie. I like that one. That part, there's two parts of that movie that I found quite hilarious. That is when they jump off the building, and then later, I think it's at their funeral, or there's a funeral scene, and um, it's the two main characters, Mark Wahlberg and what's his name there. Um, I'm blanking on his name, and then um, Batman. I'm blanking on a lot of actors' names right now. But they all start having like a whisper argument, like a whisper fight, because they don't want to be too loud. But they're like, and it goes on for a long time,
I don't
and
remember that.
I found that quite amusing.
Hmm. Okay.
You froze up. There you go.
Oh, I'm still there.
Yeah, you froze for a second, and then you came back.
Okay. I guess for my next two, I was gonna go with Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, or for the honorable
And
mention.
it's doing it again.
Is it? Did you hear
Okay.
anything?
No, I didn't hear anything. You just like freeze and then start moving again.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. Okay,
Oh, Hot Fuzz?
and Shaun of the Dead.
Okay. Are the both honorable mentions?
Yeah,
All right.
like they're
Those
not
are
quite, but
very solid choices.
but yeah, I can't really think of anything to say about them other than I guess I do find that British humor funny. And then I don't know if
Yeah.
you have seen these. These are Chinese movies. Stephen Chow.
Yeah.
Like,
Probably not. If they're Chinese, I probably haven't seen them.
okay, well, they're Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. So
Oh, well, I know of those movies. I think I actually watched one of them with you back in the day.
man,
They're like late 90s, early 2000s, right?
I, I thought they were early 2000s.
Yeah. I've seen one of those, and I don't remember which one it was.
I think the soccer one is a little more lovable, and then the other
Yeah.
one is kind of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with more kung fu.
The Kung Fu, does one of them have a character with like, it's not a sitar because it's China, but like a big stringed instrument and they like
Probably.
shoot like energy out of it?
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's like
Whichever one that is, that's the one I've seen.
big giant Buddha hands, and like it gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
Is
Shaolin.
that Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah,
Okay. That's the one I've seen then.
yeah. I guess Shaolin Soccer does kind of get cartoony, but it's
Yeah.
still. Yeah, I guess they do shoot the soccer balls at the speed of light and stuff like that. I haven't seen any of his recent stuff, so I don't. Maybe I'll check him out.
Hmm. Are those still honorable mentions? We're still doing honorable mentions.
That was the last of mine.
Okay. I don't think I have any more. I probably do.
Okay.
I could probably give you an endless list of honorable mentions, actually. Napoleon Dynamite, that's another one I like.
Oh
But
well.
I'll just go into my number three,
Okay.
because otherwise the whole
Right.
thing is going to be about uh, honorable mentions. So my number three is a pretty recent one. It's called The Nice Guys with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe, and it's Shane Black. It's the same guy that did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is another fun one. And yeah, it's takes place in the 70s, and it's kind of a noir mystery.
Okay.
Both of those movies are, but The Nice Guys, I think, is he made Kiss Kiss Bang Bang a lot earlier, and then The Nice Guys a little later, and they're both great, but I think The Nice Guys is just funnier all around.
Hmm.
It's just a funnier movie, but they're very similar because they're like funny noir films.
Okay, I don't think I've seen that.
Oh yeah, you should check it out. They're really both movies are a lot of fun. Um, The Nice Guys, Ryan Gosling is like your alcoholic loser private investigator, so classic
Ooh,
noir
okay.
character, and then Russell Crowe is like an enforcer for hire. Like he doesn't work
Hmm.
for anybody directly. You can hire him to like go beat people up. That's basically what he does.
Oh,
And it turns out that the way that they become partners is uh, Ryan Gosling is hired to find this woman, and then he's so bad at his job that she realizes he's following her and doesn't know why. So she hires Russell Crowe to go beat the shit out of him, and then they end up uncovering this big conspiracy and
oh,
working together. But yeah, it's a fun movie.
okay.
Great
Well,
chemistry between the two actors
I
too.
guess I was looking at alcoholic movies, and I guess a cult classic came up, with Nell and I. I
Mhm.
don't know if you've ever seen it.
What's it called?
With Nell and I.
No.
It's the cover was done by Ralph Steadman, which is kind of why I looked at it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like about this raging alcoholic actor who's more drunk than acting. So, yeah, just one of those pure narcissistic raging alcoholics.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I don't know, they kind of hit too close to home, and I'm like, I shouldn't watch this. I drink too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes alcoholism is definitely a theme in movies and shows that I have to um I mean it doesn't bother me that much, but I'm like hyper aware of it every time
Yeah, I guess I just
it
don't
comes
want
on.
to encourage that part of me anymore. It has enough
Yeah.
fuel.
Yeah, I get that. And um like the nice guys, a lot of like his alcoholism is kind of played a little bit for laughs, but not really. It's mostly just sad, especially a little later in the movie you find out that it's like a trauma response.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I
because
think
he's
the real life actor that was based off of is he like died when he was like 50 from
yeah,
like drinking paint thinner or something stupid.
yeah, that shit is pure poison.
Oh yeah, he
But
got
anyway,
throat cancer. So yeah, anyway, it's not
yeah.
important. But so my number three is Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks.
Okay,
So
solid classic choice.
yeah, I just yeah, it's I don't know something I can watch with my parents actually.
Yeah,
Like they actually picked a good movie. Holy shit.
right. Yeah, that's one of those that I get frustrated with older people that like that movie
Okay.
because they always say the same fucking thing, like, "Oh, you couldn't make it today. Couldn't make it today." Yes, you could. Shut up. Yes, you could.
Yeah. They're not aware
Like
of a
anybody
lot
who
of.
says that
They need to see the Greasy
is,
Strangler
yeah.
or something.
Anybody who says that shit is just missing the point of all the jokes.
Well,
You
I
know.
think maybe I guess the independent movie theme can. Maybe they were talking more about having like Netflix make that, which you really couldn't. I don't think Netflix is canceled. Like the Mighty Boosh for doing blackface. Like what the fuck,
Yeah,
Netflix?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about Netflix. They might be a little too leery of something like that. But like a just a regular Hollywood studio film, outside of the streaming services. Yeah, the I could totally see a movie like that coming out now because it's not. The whole point is that it's making fun of the bad people in that equation, like
Mhm.
the racists.
Right.
It's making fun of them. It's making them look stupid. It's lampooning them like it should.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess I know like the British get upset with Americans for like just like we know you're making fun of us, but we just don't care.
yeah,
That's kind of what it's like. I don't know. Maybe they're just too stupid. So I have friends like that, but they're just too stupid.
they're too what?
Too stupid.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Any Mel Brooks movie is pretty much also an honorable mention, I think, too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and anything with Gene Wilder, uh,
Yeah.
that's one of those actors that I wish could just live forever and keep doing movies. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, great choice.
Okay.
All right, so my number two, you already mentioned, Shaun of the Dead. That's my number two.
Okay.
Um, I think it came out at just the right time for me too. I was like in my early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, it was of the era, kind of one of those first like British comedy movies in American theaters. So I think it introduced a lot of people to sort of that British style of comedy.
I think that wasn't that his
Um,
first one, or was there one before that?
um, are you talking about
Uh,
the director? I can't remember his name.
well, yeah, it's like those two guys. They're like a duo. Um,
Yeah, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and then they always work with that. Well, for the three movies, the Cornetto trilogy, they worked with that same director, I think.
oh, okay.
Um,
I thought Simon Pegg was the director. Whoops.
no, I think he was like a writer though. I think they wrote it.
Okay.
Let me look actually. Now I
That's
want to get it
probably
right
where
because
I'm getting mixed up.
let's see, Shaun of Dead. God, 2004. That was so long ago. Edgar Wright is who I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, Edgar Wright is the director, and let's see. Screenplay was written by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, the director. And then Nick Frost is just, uh, the other actor. But
Huh.
I
Well,
love all three of those movies.
I would think if you improvise a lot, I would think you'd get writing credits. But
Yeah, I don't know how much of that was done in the improvisational kind of style. Um, it
Yeah, because
looks a little more
I
like a
was
funny script.
I was listening to an interview with Bill Murray. He was talking
Hmm.
about like how he doesn't read the script because it's going to change.
Okay. I mean, he's got to at least know what the story is, right? Like
I guess I don't know. I guess once you hit a
maybe
certain
he doesn't
level,
memorize it.
uh, yeah, I don't know.
Hmm.
I didn't listen to the whole interview,
Um,
but I
yeah,
guess
I get
he
the impression
he's one of
that
my
those
favorite
movies, the
actors.
Shaun of the yeah, I get the impression that the Cornetto movies specifically are um, stick mostly to the script. I could be wrong, but I noticed when the movie Paul, which is another one of my favorites, um, that was Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in an American movie. I think it was an American movie, but there was a whole bunch of big uh, comedic actors, comedic American actors in that movie that you know,
Really?
and it was kind of like this mixing of the two popular comedic um, styles, I guess, and you can really see the difference there. Um, like a movie like 40-Year-Old Virgin is basically just all improv,
Okay.
and you can kind of tell when you compare them. Uh,
Hmm. Maybe. I guess I don't analyze them that much as other movies. It's like I kind of just
yeah.
sit back and relax, have a few laughs. That's it.
Well, and I could be way off too because those movies I watch, like I've seen those movies so many times, and most of the times that I've seen them, I've been stoned. So I could have just been overthinking all of it.
They're just lost in your eye.
You know, and one of the only reason I chose Shaun of the Dead over Hot Fuzz is number one, it came first, and I have more of a nostalgia for it. But number
Me too.
two, I like most of the editing style that Edgar Wright uses. But in Hot Fuzz, there are a few times where the editing is a bit much. Like some of the action scenes um,
Hmm.
are just a little too heavily edited for my taste.
Okay. I don't know.
But yeah, that's my number two.
Okay. Shit. You made me forget what my number two was. Oh, how could I forget? The Big Lebowski.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great fucking choice.
Yeah. I guess that's my favorite one of his. It's like,
Yeah,
and the performance. Fuck, who's the lead? I forget his name.
uh, Jeff Bridges
Yeah, there you
is the dude, and um, Walter. Oh fuck. What the hell's his name? I'm terrible with names today. He's in Arachnophobia and a bunch of other shit.
go. Oh, it's like I remember Sam Hyde doing his little voiceover narration. Really sets the mood of the movie very well.
John Goodman. Jesus.
Yeah.
Brain isn't working. Sam Elliott, you mean?
Uh,
The cowboy
oh,
at the bar?
yeah. Whoops. Who did I say? Anyway,
I don't know, Sam Hyde or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what you
okay.
said.
Whoops.
It definitely wasn't Elliot though.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay. So you said The Big Lebowski was your number two?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your number three was again?
Yeah.
We did so many honorable mentions. I'm confused. What was your number three?
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles. Right. Okay. Blazing Saddles, Big Lebowski. All
But
right.
yeah, it's like with dark comedies, it's like they like we wouldn't have even talked about those because there's so many dark comedies I love more than
Yeah.
these.
All right. Well, I'll jump into my number one because you gave me a really good segue into my number one because my number one is The Big Lebowski.
Oh.
So, yeah,
Huh.
perfect. Yeah, it's endlessly watchable, endlessly quotable, hilarious, uh, fucking classic. And I mean, what else is there to say about it that hasn't already been?
Yeah, probably not.
The performances are great. Also, it has Julianne Moore.
Mm.
She's awesome. She's really funny in it too. I She doesn't do a lot of comedy in her like well, she doesn't do a lot of anything now. Uh, but I don't think she did a lot of comedy, and she should because she was really
It's like that's the
quite a
kind of
character in that movie.
well, she was the rich housewife, right? That got kidnapped. Except,
No, no, that was
oh no, no, the artist.
yeah, the artist. Yeah, yeah, the one that tries to get pregnant by Lebowski.
Oh, okay.
Go see this doctor. He's a good man and thorough.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I already mentioned my number one. It was the Holy Grail. So
Strange movie. Very strange.
yeah, yeah, I suppose. But I guess it's a lot of where that low budget comes
Yeah.
in. But yeah, I thought the budget like made a lot of their choices, more interesting. With the
Yeah.
coconuts, probably the biggest or most memorable one.
Yeah. And it was just, horses are expensive. So make a joke out of it.
Well, yeah, they're hard to work with too. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then the Black
Uh,
Knight is a classic skit,
oh, yeah.
and the
Probably one of the most famous gags.
yeah, and then the bridge, you shall not pass. Or no, that's Lord of the Rings. But the three questions on the bridge.
Hmm.
Yep.
I like
African
the
or European swallow?
all the weird little animated bits that they do.
Yeah, yeah, those are gorgeous.
I thought those were fun. I like when the the sun and the clouds are like jumping up and down for no reason.
Yeah, Monty Python's like that. Like
Yeah,
I thought
just
they're
very irreverent, very strange.
well, I thought the
Um,
the one pick that they all agreed on was the one where they he gets hit with a fish like out of nowhere.
hit with the fish. I don't remember that.
It's like he's doing a dance and he just smacks him with a fish. Maybe I could find it.
Oh, hmm. I don't know. I don't remember that part. Uh, I remember I think it
Oh,
was
no, that
Galahad when
was
he storms
well. That was
storms
just
the
a
castle.
okay. Yeah, that was classic. I guess I was talking about Monty Python in general. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Because I don't remember the fish scene from
no,
uh
wasn't in
okay.
in the Holy Grail. That's a different one.
I haven't
Sorry.
seen the other movies like Life of Brian and what was there's like three big ones that they have. Life of Brian, Holy Grail,
Is it the meaning
Mystery of
of
the
life?
World or something like that.
Is it
Yeah.
something like the
I've only
meaning
seen
meaning of
Holy
life?
Grail.
Or
Oh, Meaning of Life, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
like I like the
Um
song, but yeah, I forget the movie.
yeah, I haven't seen either of those two movies. I've seen little sketches here and there from the show.
Hmm.
Um like the where the guy pays to have an argument, which is a lot of fun if you haven't seen that one.
Huh. I don't remember that one. I remember the dead parrot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dead Parrot's a classic one. Um, yeah, there's one where a guy goes to a service which is basically just pay to have an argument with someone,
Hmm.
and he goes in there and uh, they just end up arguing over whether or not they're, which is funny.
Hmm.
So just playing with the dialogue. I like
Okay.
things they do with dialogue.
Yeah, the British are a lot more educated, to a higher standard, definitely.
Yeah, it tends to be a little more witty.
Yeah, a little more involved.
Yeah. Well, I think those are pretty good lists.
Yeah, I'm happy with those.
Yeah.
Uh, anything else about comedies or
Not really. I mean, we could go really in depth with different subgenres of comedies, which we could, you know,
well, I thought for next week we'd do dark comedies. Um,
yeah, yeah, we can do that. We can
or
do
wait,
dark
no.
comedies, and,
Or should we do TV series next?
like comedy TV series.
Yeah, because I definitely wanted to
We
talk
could do
about
that.
like The Simpsons
Yeah,
and
because I had a couple of honorable mentions that were TV series, but I left them out because they're not movies. So I definitely have some ideas for TV. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, let's do that next.
All right, cool. Let me write that down so I don't forget.
Okay, I guess.
There's also a lot of comedy TV series that I do not like, and I find them highly overrated, and I can't understand why they're popular.
Friends, Seinfeld.
Yeah, yeah, Friends, Seinfeld. Um,
I liked Seinfeld
the
for a
big,
while, but
yeah, I just find the characters so gross. And
in
it's kind of
hindsight,
like there's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is legitimately a funny show, but it's so grimy that I can only bit at a time. So I've never actually watched most of that show. But anyway, we can get into that next week.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cut